Madhavan has taught me life,
Yes.
has taught me patience, has taught my wife and me to put up with each other. So he is the glue that bonds all the four of us together.
अगर आप ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं तो अब अगले कुछ क्षणों में आप एक स्पेशल पेरेंट की जर्नी सुनेंगे। स्पेशल पेरेंट मतलब पेरेंट्स ऑफ स्पेशल नीड्स चिल्ड्रन या चिल्ड्रन विद डिफरेंट एबिलिटीज। स्पेशल पेरेंट्स पर मेरा ये जो सीरीज है स्पेशल हीरो, ये बहुत स्पेशल है क्योंकि जब आप पेरेंट बन रहे होते हैं, व्हेन यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ चाइल्ड, यू नेवर actually expect that you are going to be a parent of a child with different abilities and special needs. कोई नहीं सोचता, तो फिर लेकिन आप you fall upon it और तब पूरा शरीर नम हो जाता है जब आपको ये पता चलता है कि आपके बेटे को या बेटी को एक कुछ स्पेशल रिक्वायरमेंट है जो बहुत लंबे समय तक रहेगी और आपके बच्चे को शायद उसके जीवन के हर मुकाम में आपकी जरूरत होगी। तो ये बड़ा सुन्न कर देने वाला एक अनुभव होता है। स्पेशल पेरेंट माई सेल्फ, बहुत ही आपको समझ में नहीं आता कि आप क्या करने वाले हैं, क्या होगा, क्योंकि एक स्पेशल बच्चा दूसरे स्पेशल बच्चे से अलग होता है, कोई फॉर्मूला नहीं है और सब एक जर्नी पर निकल पड़ते हैं जो कि बहुत ही अलग होती है जो दूसरे पेरेंट्स होते हैं उनसे। कुछ बच्चों में इन प्रॉब्लम के बाद एक ऐसी कुछ तबीयत भी खराब हो सकती है उनकी जो उनको और ज्यादा स्पेशल बना देती है, जो कभी कभी कुछ अलग सिकनेस हो जाता है। जैसे कि आज के जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं, उनके बच्चे को स्पेशल नीड्स के अलावा ही सफरिंग फ्रॉम एपिलेप्सी। एपिलेप्सी जिसको हिंदी में हम लोग मिर्गी बोलते हैं, वो बड़ा पेनफुल होता है क्योंकि उसमें कभी भी अचानक कुछ भी किसी व्यक्ति को भी, एक छोटे से बच्चे से लेकर अडल्ट को भी झटके आने लगते हैं शरीर में। बहुत तरह की एपिलेप्सी होती है, झटके आने लगते हैं और उस समय में जिस समय ये हो रहा होता है, जिसके साथ हो रहा होता है उसको कुछ पता नहीं होता और वो कभी भी हो सकता है। अब आप इमेजिन करिए वो सिचुएशन कि ये कहीं भी और कभी भी हो सकता है। आई एम सो प्राउड ऑफ माई गेस्ट टुडे इंट्रोड्यूसिंग Mr. Balaji and his journey as a special parent. So my guest, Mr. Balaji, is here and he is going to talk about that how his journey as a human being and as a parent, as a special needs parent, how it was. Welcome, sir. Please talk about yourself and your journey as a special needs parent.
So, madam, my name is Balaji. I'm an engineer by profession. I started my career back when, at an early age of 22 years, I finished my engineering. I joined Honeywell. I got a scholarship. I married the woman I loved. So everything was happy, and things were nice. I started my career. Career was looking bright. And I progressed over time. It so happened that we were expecting a child, and then those happy moments started pitching in, and then we were discussing with everybody. And of course, I think one thing that in India, at least, a few gynecologists and obstetricians that we've worked with, they often have a sort of what to say, I don't know, I'm not getting the right word, but then it's like they take it easy that if it's a first pregnancy and the woman is less than 25 years of age, which was in case of my
They are
wife.
not really worried about any type of
Yeah,
complications as such.
right.
Yes.
So that was pretty much in progress, and then the usual tests. I mean, as parents, as young parents, prime of our youth, we wouldn't, although we see people talking about, the complications in pregnancy and the complications in parenting that might happen, we would not give it as much importance as it requires, because we are in a different state of mind. Either our parents or our in-laws should be able to put some sense into our mind sometimes when we do things. But then when you are at that age, you're
Yeah, so you
just
are
full steam
carefree, you're
ahead.
relaxed, and everything is settled, and you are
Yeah,
expecting your first child. And because you are young, nobody is, bothering you to,
yeah,
get this test done or something. But I
exactly.
believe that how the scans were normal, or was there any
Yeah, so the scans will always be normal unless
Oh.
they see the abnormality once the child is born, or in some cases that they just ignore some scans saying that there are false positives. So I say this because once my child was born, it was an emergency C-section.
Okay.
It was She was full term. It was a full term baby.
Mm-hmm.
But then 1 week prior to the expected date, we were advised to get a scan, and when we went for the scan, the movements were a little low compared to
Okay.
the previous day,
Mm-hmm.
and so we hurried to a scan, and then the person who was scanning sort of was shocked, and he said, "You need to get an emergency C-section done immediately."
Mm-hmm.
And so much. So this was in Mysore. So it's a tier 2 city, which is not a very big city where you have a lot of facilities and things like that. But still,
I think it's a good city, Mysore.
it's a well-planned city, and you don't expect things to go wrong in such
Yeah, yeah.
cities. So we went to the hospital. We called the obstetrician, the gynec we were consulting, and she was like, "Oh, today I'm on leave. I don't know what to do.
Um,
I'm outside the city. I would need at least 6 hours to come. So why don't you wait in the hospital?" Like time was ticking, and there was nothing we could do. She's the I mean, I would expect at least the obstetrician to have a backup,
Backup.
because she
Yeah.
and then my wife was made to wait in the operation theater for almost 6 to 8 hours till she could come and then perform the emergency C-section. And then the baby did not cry at birth.
Uh-huh.
And if I look at the discharge summary now, it's a little scary, because
Oh,
the kind of I mean, I was in Bangalore. I was at work. I did not expect the baby to be born here. And of course, parents wouldn't tell you something if
the
something's
bad
going
parts.
wrong. They want you
Mm,
to relax and take care and all that.
right.
So I rushed in the evening. By the time the baby was already born,
Mm-hmm.
and then I was rushed into the NICU as a father, and then the pediatrician started talking to me, saying that, okay, so the baby is not maintaining oxygen saturation; it's at 80%. So we are supplying oxygen to the baby. The platelet count is less than 40,000.
My
So
God.
and then the baby did not cry at birth. The baby is turning pink and blue, and then there is sort of a lump in the baby's stomach that we are seeing. The baby has 2 holes in the heart, and then and a lot of these complications.
Oh,
So
my God.
and it was like all the information was delivered just under 30 seconds. It was a
Oh,
little
my
too much
God.
for me.
Must be hell. Like,
Yeah, I didn't. For 5 to 10 minutes, I didn't know what to respond to.
yeah,
I did not know what to do.
you went
I
completely
just,
numb, I guess. Like you
yeah,
didn't know.
I was just blank, and added to the drama, I fainted also, probably because
Of course, you didn't
because
know how to process all these information.
it was not probably for the information, because it was quite hot outside, and then I suddenly came into the NICU, and taking all this information in. Probably my mind said, "Okay, now I'm just shutting down." So, and everybody were like, "Oh, he fainted! Oh, he fainted!" And okay, okay. I just and then I was I mean, to tell a little bit about myself, I'm a little pious. I'm superstitious. Uh,
Mhm.
I'm quite spiritual and philosophical in life. So my way of looking at it was, whatever had to happen were to happen. Even if it was
Yes.
not this doctor, it would have happened
Okay.
with anybody else. So I put some sense into myself. I was probably the strongest in the entire set of people that were there. People were crying, people were not knowing what to do. They were all rushing to temples, trying to pray for the better of the baby. And the first question I asked the doctor was like, how's the mother? Because I
Wow.
wanted to see her. I got all this information. People were trying to bombard me with information about the baby, but not much about the mother was being said. So I was like, okay, how's the mother? So that's my daughter. Sorry about that.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So post that, I mean, it was a C-section. So the mother was in horrible pain throughout the night and all that, and then the
And
baby was
trauma
in NICU.
also, mental trauma also, because she couldn't see a
Yeah.
child. You were not
Right.
there, and she had to wait for 6 to 8 hours, knowing what is going to happen to her. Oh my
And
God.
that was inside the operation
Horrible.
theater on a stretcher, so
Yes.
on a steel stretcher. So that
Yeah.
was really bad.
Mm.
And post that, we tried to see what all could have gone wrong. We were thinking, okay, did we do anything wrong? Was there something that we could have done better and things like that? But not quite. We had taken all the things. I mean, we had considered all the probabilities that things could go bad, and then this was something beyond all that. And then came the baby was in NICU for 11 days. And slowly after the second day and the third day, the oxygen saturation started maintaining, the platelets count went up, and the lump that they suspected was not a lump. And then they were suspecting rubella as the infection, which had caused the issue for the baby. But then the baby was rubella positive, the mother was rubella negative. So the pediatrician was like, no, that's a false positive, because the baby cannot be infected without the mother getting infected. Right. So post that, after almost 11 days, the baby was put on warmers and UV and all that. And
all this
they gave, yeah, the first time the baby was given to the mother was post 11 days, like as in she was feeding the baby, and I mean she couldn't feed the baby because the baby was in the NICU. We had to arrange some other means of giving the milk to the baby, but the NICU is the thing.
She could hold the child after 11 days.
Yes,
Which was meant to be after, like within an hour or so. That happened after 11 days. Oh my
11 days, yeah. So the mother was in immense pain also through this.
Yeah.
And NICU is not a very nice place to be in, because people keep talking about their experiences, and then having more information is not good. Because people keep telling about how one woman lost 6 babies during the 6 past pregnancies, and then one person saying that I cannot feed my baby because apparently the milk that she produces is poisonous, toxic to the baby, and the babies are dying because of her milk more than anything else.
This really happened? Because I don't think it's even true. It's even possible.
So yeah, I think the pediatrician sort of said that there are some compounds that are affecting the babies, and apparently she had lost 4 or 5 babies prior to this, and then this was her 6th baby or so, and then the pediatrician had advised to give milk substitute rather than the milk and all that.
I think I have to believe that a mother can produce a poisonous milk.
No, as in it was not working for her baby.
For child, or for the baby, it was not working.
For the babies were not taking. Probably, I mean, I'm not saying this is how these are people from all walks of life. So it's the language that they use.
Right.
And it might not be the right medical terminology, but then in all forms of reality, it is true what they say. So, and it's a very traumatic place, hearing all the stories. Even if you don't want to talk to anybody, you will be pulled into conversations. So
yes, and the kind of emotional state you were in because of your own child, it must be very hard. I understand.
Yeah, and so I kept watching out of the window, and then thinking what's going to happen, and that the uncertainty, at least till that point in time, I was a binary person. I was always think there is a yes or a no. There is no maybe as an answer. So I would stress on people. I mean, I would be the cause of stress. Now I realize that not everybody are as binary as I was. And then this was the moment where uncertainty first struck me. In fact, one of the other thing that they had said was the baby has a hole in the heart, which is big enough, and if required, the baby had to be operated 2 days later in Narayana Hrudayalaya in Bangalore, and baby had to be transported immediately to Bangalore. And apparently, the pediatrician had a call with Dr. Devi Shetty from Narayana Hrudayalaya, and he was suggested to give some drug via injection to the baby, and that was supposed to help. And I have the details in my discharge summary, but then I don't remember it, what the drug was and things like that. And 2 days later, they said they did 2 or 3 echocardiogram of the heart, and then it appeared that one of the hole which was big enough had closed by itself.
Oh yeah, it happens. That also happens.
It happens at birth, and they were saying, and it had not happened because the child did not cry at birth the first day. So, and there was another hole in the heart which we were to monitor over the growth of the baby. And I think at third year of my son, his name is Madhavan. So named after the film actor.
Oh, really? Are you a big fan of R. Madhavan?
Yeah, I mean, not so much me. My wife was.
So nice of you that you let her name him after Madhavan.
I mean, for all, let me be frank. He is smart by all means than me in any possible acceptable realm of world.
Yeah. True. I completely agree with you. At one point of time, I think still I'm kind of fan, Madhavan's fan. So
he was a heartthrob.
Yeah, of course. Oh my God. In my time, he was one of the heartthrob. Of course, he was. He still is.
Right. So, at the third year, we got the echocardiogram done, and the other hole, which was, they call it ASD. I forgot the abbreviation of that. It is atrial septum disorder or something like that.
Possible atrioseptal disorder, because atrium is one of the chamber, septal is the division, and the disorder. So yeah, it is possible.
Yeah. So after 3 years, when we were when we got another echo done, it seemed to have closed, and the baby was fine. So I thought, and then when we were asked to consult a neurologist at around the third, fourth year of the baby, because all milestones were getting delayed. He could not sit up at the right time. He could not creep or crawl at the right age that he had to. So so everything got delayed, and then we were asked to consult a neurologist. And one of the famous neurologists in Bangalore we were referred to. It's a pain that that neurologist was heartless, as in he was looking at the baby. Sorry, I revealed the gender of the neurologist. So I meant to say he looked at us and he said, he looked at us and the baby, and he said, "This is a clear case. The baby looks to be having mental problems. What is it that you cannot see?"
Wow.
And we are
I actually would like you to reveal the name, but probably you will not. But this is so cruel. This is cruel to the parents, and this is like even worse than an astrologer who can just they predict something random. It is very random.
Yeah, this actually hurt us both so much that we were like, okay, what's happening? So we had already started physiotherapy for the baby because he was not able to gain the muscle tone that he had to develop by the age. And then physiotherapies were in progress, but we did not know of a mental condition until this person said. And then it was a little shocker because we never expected the child to have a mental situation. And the pediatrician was always saying that you cannot what to say, ascertain the mental state of a baby until it's 2 years of age, when it starts to communicate with the social world. Till such time, there is nothing you can ascertain whether the child is having a mental problem or not. And it was wrong. I'm sorry, it was probably very early. It was like the 6th or 7th month of the baby. It was not even 2 years. It was very early. Maybe
So in the
I got
sixth
confused.
month, the neurologist said just by looking at the baby
Yes,
that the child is having some.
having a problem. Yeah, it was not, the baby was not even a year, because I remember now the pediatrician saying that
Actually, you should really write some kind of FB post, or if you can reveal the name, because
I
otherwise
was.
the parents will not go there because this is not correct.
No, but that's the funny thing. We found it so hard to with this neurologist. But if you look at the hospitals or the places that he consults, the entire place is crowded with people, and apparently it seems to be working for a lot many people, and it didn't work for us. And we took it really to the heart, because
Of
we
course,
felt.
six,
But
7 months
doesn't look
old.
like that, because
Yeah.
the other set of parents I see visiting the consulting with this neurologist don't seem to have a problem. And then that's why I was about to write a Google review about this person.
Hmm.
Then I thought it seemed to be working for the larger population, and I might be one of the outlier. Why two? And then if you look up the name, you'll see almost 4.7 stars on 5 stars for this neurologist. So it might be one bad experience for me, or he was having a bad day, so I just ignored that. And yeah, post that the physiotherapy continued. Then we were to get then we went to another big neurological center in Bangalore. I'm hiding the names because I don't want to bias people who are
Okay.
watching this. We went to another neurological center in Bangalore where they asked us to get this was probably when my child was 2.5 years. Um and then they asked us to get an MRI done. And uh, through physiotherapy and all the other doctors that we had consulted, we already knew that my son was having a sensory issue, sensory, what do they call it? Sensitivity to sensory input, sensory stimulus. So it's like he doesn't want to wear new clothes. He doesn't like the textures of anything new. So a lot of sensory integration had to be done in the physiotherapy to expose him to textures, colors, and things, so that he gets used to it. So
Right.
at the time of 2.5 years, whenever he used to get scared, he would not sleep at all. And then the MRI required him to be sedated.
Hmm.
Uh, and then uh, uh, and then knowing him, we were sure that he would have to be given a very strong dose of sedation, 2-3 doses. And then we got a little scared as parents as well. And when we talked to our pediatrician, he said MRI is only going to reveal what has happened. It's not going to tell how to progress. It's going to give a picture of what was affected at birth, and then it will guide people where to look for answers. And maybe this is not the right age for him to get the MRI done. Maybe you can defer
Exactly.
it for
Too
some time.
young.
Yeah, so we said, okay, fine. Anyway, and then the pediatrician said, just be careful that you don't let the child fall or have other injuries which would affect him more. So fine, we quit that. We did not proceed with that. And then we realized that his speech is a little slow, and then the way. But good thing was his intelligence and cognition and memory were very good. He was able to recite. So whatever he watched on TV, like the alphabet or probably the fruits and vegetables and all that, and he could recite all of them in the same order that he watched. So, and he was very good in spellings. He picked up phonics at a very young age, and then he could spell out any name. So which meant that his cognition. I mean, like my mother's name is quite a complicated name, and he could spell that out phonics by phonics
Wow.
without aid at the age of 3 years. So which was
Interesting.
phenomenal.
Hmm.
So which said that there was not much of a problem in his intellectual thinking abilities or cognition, and he could understand things just by looking things around. So if we are talking something at home that I'm leaving, or somebody has to come. So it would show in his face that, okay, he knows what's happening around. Although he was not
Expressing all these,
expressing.
yeah,
Yeah.
verbally.
So that sort of kept us going. So his physiotherapy continued. We put him to a special school. He attended LKG and UKG, and also we got him. So by then we were expecting a second baby. That was my daughter you saw here. So we were thinking, okay, things are going fine. So our second child was born, and it
I
was
have
again.
just one question, because recently actually someone called me for that because my older child is also, she has autism, and so uh, how it was, how did I consider having second child? So how, the same question to you, how was it for you? Like, how did you?
Yeah, so when we were thinking of the second child, we were like, okay, so the first child seems to have a problem. What all tests should be done?
Mhm.
Who is the gynec or obstetrician that we need to consult, and things like that. So a lot of questions in our mind as well. So we went to 2, 3 doctors, and then the first pediatrician sort of knew us very well now, because Madhavan was a name that stood out, and also the history, the medical history that he had probably gave him sleepless nights as well. So he even now remembers us very well. So he was like, "You can continue. You can have a second child, but before that, you get a karyotyping test done, just to make sure
Okay.
that there are no genetics related issues that affected your baby, just to rule out the possibility." And then there was another very senior gynec and obstetrician in the place where I hail from, and so much so that many of my friends, she helped birth for their mothers.
Okay.
And then our generation. So she has been known for like almost 3 generations
Okay.
of children. So we were like, okay, we'll go to her. I think now she is retired. I'm just hoping she is retired, but then she is not to bless people with the prime of health and things like that. So yeah, so she said, we'll get all the tests done. You don't need to worry. We'll make sure that all tests are very carefully watched and things like that. And by the time you have your second child, you have more experience in terms
Yes,
of
of
all
course, of
what
course. So you were
what these
very
tests
careful.
mean.
You carefully went for the second child, and by
Yeah.
God's grace and your careful action, I think everything is going fine.
Yeah, and she is the second one is like as sharp as a needle. She'll just go from here and come out of here, and you won't realize what just happened. So.
Okay.
So the other thing was, by the time you have your second child, all your friends and your family knows what problems you've been having with your first child. So they come in with advice on what scanning, where is the better thing to do, what is because they would have had their first children by then. So they would share their experiences, and now you're a better parent than the first time.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the collective information and knowledge base sort of helps you guide through the process.
The village
So
helped you to raise the first and second child, the village, the
yeah,
proverbial village, what we call. Okay, that is so
true.
nice to know. That is so nice to know that you had a great support system with your children. That was great.
Yeah, right. So post that, I think the seizures and the epilepsy
Yes.
started only recently.
Okay.
So that was probably the most painful part of being a parent, because we had not seen observed seizures. The pediatrician kept asking, "Are you observing anything abnormal in the child?" Uh, and then every visit, every 2, 3 months or 6 months that we would go to visit him, he would ask that, "How is Madhavan? Is he showing all normal behavior?" And he would explicitly ask, "Are there any seizures? Did you notice any seizures?" And we didn't realize that we had to expect seizures. At least from the day of birth, apparently, when a child has a neurological problem, you should expect seizures anytime. is what we were told. But then that we realized only later. And then by 2020 was when it was COVID. COVID started coming in, and the physiotherapy also started slowing down. The schools were shut. We changed our house. Post the first lockdown, before the second lockdown, we changed our house. So a lot of things were changing. And then this one day, my son just wakes up, goes to the bathroom, and then he just stands frozen there for almost a minute. And then he starts, after a minute he recovers, and then he closes his eyes and says he's very sleepy, and he ended up sleeping for 1.5 hours after that. So this was a little
unusual.
Unusual. And we went
experience.
we went to the pediatrician, and he said these are signs of seizures. Watch it, observe it for another 3 months, because if an anti-seizure medication is started, it's not going to stop in the near time. Sure. So just watch for another 3 months and record the number of instances this happens. So that is where I still remember the date. It was August 3rd, 2020. It started, and then one after another, it used to happen once in a week, once in 2 weeks, and then 2 times in a week, and then became 3 times in a week. Almost became a daily affair. And then by December 2020, we started. The doctor started giving anti-epileptic medication. The pediatrician said that till such time you go to a neurologist, you take this medication, make sure he is on this medication. And then you cannot wane this down. You cannot miss a dose on this. Just continue with this. I said, okay. And then started the saga of neurologists again. So again, we were directed to the same person, the first one. And then we thought, okay, that was many, many years ago. So it might have been a bad experience. Let's go again. And then we went there, and this person, I don't know for what reason, he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't talk his diagnosis. And for me, it was like, I'm educated. I can understand English. I can understand. He could speak Kannada also. Like, language was not a problem. Just tell me what the problem is. Tell me what you're thinking. But no, he would just say, okay. He would write a prescription and say, okay, take this. Next 2 weeks, we'll meet you back again in 2 weeks. Tell me what's going on. And then I would ask him, so what happened? Yeah, you give this, we'll see what happens. And then we would be, and it happened for like 3-4 months. He tried around.
You trusted him. We continued.
We continued because, now you are to believe that the neurologist has studied more and knows more, and you start trusting that person. Right. So started, I think we tried 3 or 4 epileptic medicines. So there are only later, after doing some research, I realized there are 2 kinds of medication they give for seizures. One is a broad spectrum and another narrow spectrum anti-epileptic medicines. In that, all neurologists invariably try a combination of broad spectrum and narrow spectrum anti-epileptic medicines. So in that combination, around 3 or 4 of them he tried, and then again, he would not talk what he is doing. All of this information came from my research on what this medicine is, why is it given, what are the side effects, what to look out for, and things like that. And his seizures are changing patterns. Like one day he coughs, the other day he doesn't cough. Someday he just stares blankly, and that's a kind of seizure. And someday, but the thing, I don't know how to say it. It was not a tonic-clonic seizures. So it was not that he fell down and then
Those
started
jerk
vigorously
movements were not
shaking and
there.
things. Yeah,
It was like
jerky
more
movements
like
were not.
a silent seizure, what people like to call it, silent
Right.
seizure.
Yeah,
Okay.
they call it atonic seizures or something.
Yeah, tonic-clonic is like you have jerk movements.
Right. So
And yeah, so it wasn't like
this had no muscular related
jerks. Yeah,
problems.
yeah. It was around 6 months into the seizures. And then what was the pattern? How was it?
Right. Yeah. So post 6 months, we were as parents, we were like deep into this monitoring seizures. How many seizures during the morning? How many in the night? How many in the evening? How many before food? How many after food? Uh, so all of these patterns now you start to visualize. I mean, start to see connections between the two. Is it the food you give him? Is it what is it? And then people continuously talking to you is like, why don't you try Ayurveda? Why don't you try this doctor, that medicine? People are ready to give you
Suggestions.
information
Free
and
suggestions all the
suggestions.
time.
And
Yes.
sometimes suggestions are very hard because they come from very close family. You have to listen to them of sorts.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
laughing, but I understand the pain actually.
Hmm.
Did you go for Ayurveda and homeopathy and naturopathy and all those, or you
we
just
didn't try all, we didn't try the full yard of alternate medicine. We went to Ayurveda. Ayurveda was a little hopeful because I don't know, for some reason I don't believe in homeopathy.
Okay.
My personal opinion, although my own family doesn't agree with me. So, uh, but other than that, we tried Ayurveda. We tried one doctor. We tried another doctor. But then with one of them, it so happened that they gave some medicine, some based out of plants, and that sort of aggravated the seizures. So which was like if we were seeing around 10 or 12 episodes in a day, we started seeing 15, 18 seizure episodes
Did
in a
you
day.
say 10 or 12 episodes a day? A day. Oh my God. So almost like, every waking hours, you're talking about the waking hours,
No. This is all through the day. So
24 hours. So even
yeah,
in his sleep, he was getting?
yeah, he was getting in
Oh
the
my
sleep
God. And
also.
you were taking note of it that he's getting seizures. Must be such
I
a, oh my
I
God.
don't know. I mean, I don't want to think about it, but then I don't remember the number of sleepless nights I had
Yeah,
or my wife had. It
of
was
course.
mostly the mother
Mother, yes, yes, I understand. I know that.
because she couldn't catch a wink.
Couldn't, yes,
Uh,
yes, yes, yes.
uh, at least I would say, as you know, the patriarchal society or whatever, however, the
No, I
world is
think
set.
see that is different. That is there. Like even my daughter
I
has
mean,
epilepsy. So
I
I
mean to say,
you mothers cannot stop themselves
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
They cannot stop themselves, and they are definitely much more sensitive. They know by
right.
just a look that how the child is
True,
going. So
true.
that is there. I will not disagree with the patriarchal part that is there, but at the same time, in my opinion, if your child is sick, mothers should definitely come forward. Fathers are, if they are involved, then their fathers are also very sensitive. But definitely, I'll give mothers a bit of.
No, of course. I mean, if I had to be honest with you, I mean, I would tell my contribution to all of this was probably a minuscule, and it was all through the time where the mother she had given her. I mean, I don't know what to say. How there are no words to explain what she was doing all this while. Even she continues to do that, and of course,
She will
that's what a
continue
mother
doing.
does. Uh, yeah, beyond that, there are no words to say. How much a
I know.
mother does for their children.
Mm.
But yeah, so we both were waking up and then checking the number of seizures that he used to get. And then patterns like which fruits sort of aggravate the seizure, what foods aggravate the seizure. Because he was complaining sometimes that when he was when the episode just finished, he would say that he has discomfort in his stomach. So we were of the opinion that something's happening in his stomach, something that we are giving him as food has started giving him seizures. And as I started reading research articles, and then generally when I do a Google search or things like that, I don't go by the first few hits or the community-based results that come up. I'm a little more methodical in my research. I go through WebMD and pub.nih. So some NCBI websites, medical websites where renowned research is done on these subjects and then results are published. So when I don't understand something, I go Google search for knowing what those terms are more than understanding what Google concludes on what to do. So when doctors hear me speak, they actually get a little offended because I speak their terms. And and then, yeah, you know, my wife rolls her eyes because, you know,
I know.
this guy seems to be outsmarting the doctors also. But then that is how I make sure that I'm doing in detailed research of the subject I'm interested in, especially if it's with respect to your child. I don't want any stone unturned.
Yes, of course.
So when I was reading through that, it started showing that, you know, there are some foods which can aggravate seizure, and likewise there are some mushrooms which can reduce the seizures also. And then, but yeah, I do not want to be
yes, you would not like to give you
self-medicate.
Yes, because
So
it
I
is your
used to
own
discuss.
research. Correct.
I used to discuss this with the neurologists, and so I would like to give you some numbers. By the end of all of this, we had consulted around 9 neurologists, and around 15 anti-epileptic medicines were tried on my child. And then it was getting really frustrating because one thing for sure was there was a medicine which was a steroid. And then this was prescribed by the very first neurologist we went to. And he didn't tell us it was a steroid, which was the reason we sort of backed off from him. So I would expect the doctor to tell us, okay, this is this kind of medicine. I'm giving you this because I sense that this can help your child. Some words of assurance, and not to be treated like animals in the hospital. So we backed off from that first neurologist, although he had prescribed this medicine long ago. Then we went through the next one, the next one, the next one in different cities, in Mysore, in Bangalore. This person knows this neurologist well. This person says that neurologist as well. You have to give it a try. They hear there. This hospital is good. That hospital is good. At the end of it, the count came to 9, and we had tried around 15 anti-epileptic medicines, all spanning between 2 to 3 months, having seen no effects on my child's seizure behavior. And I think by the end of 2 years of this saga, both me and my wife had enough of all of this. So we said, yeah, so what best? I mean, it started working the reverse way. What if we don't treat these seizures? What will happen? At best, he might have seizures for a long time and eventually may stop. That's how some research says. So we hope that someday it'll stop. And as both me and my wife are very religious, we felt that, okay, God will find some reason someday to stop this, and then we'll be done with it. So we stopped all medications for the child. And all, so we continue to give the 2 medicines that the doctor had prescribed, the pediatrician had prescribed, because we did not have the courage to stop everything. We continued with the bare minimum we thought is the right thing to do. Then we waited for almost 6 months, I guess. We continued without any medication, and then one fine day there was one physiotherapist in my hometown who had suggested one neurologist, and then she had said, this neurologist is a little different. She thinks a little different, and a lot of her patients who are coming for physiotherapy apparently had very good experience with this neurologist. And for some reason, that discussion came up again, and we said, okay, she will be the last neurologist that we will consult. And after that, if his seizures won't come down, we are not going to do anything about it. We'll just leave it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went there, and she looked at the child and she said, I need an emergency EEG on this child right now. And I'm going to hold all the other patients that are waiting here, although all of them are children who have, she was a pediatric neurologist, all of them are children with special needs who have problems and things like that. She said, you're going to get me an EEG. You're going to sit here today evening till 7 or 8 p.m. But then I need to see the EEG right away, and you're not going without it. And we felt a little pressured into it, because you don't expect a doctor to tell you that. But then she looked at our faces and said, it is an emergency, and that's why I'm asking you to do it. I'm asking you to stay.
Mm-hmm.
And we said, okay, fine. And then we had to sedate the baby. By this time, we had got the MRI done. So we showed the MRI and all that. MRI was another saga. I'm not going to tell you that it was 3-4 doses of sedation, and then he didn't
Not
sleep,
move at all. Yeah.
not a wink. And then he had to be given a rectal sedation so that he falls asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And then followed 2 days of drowsy behavior as if he was drunk. He was like, he couldn't open his eyes properly. And I mean, these side effects last longer than the intent. Yes. So, so the MRI was done, and this time he was sedated. He slept quite soon, and then the EEG was done. And then she looked at the EEG and said, she looked at both of us and said, you're playing against death. Your child can die in sleep. It is called SUDEP, sudden death in epilepsy. And by not doing anything for the 6 months, you were fighting with death. And that is when it stuck us, stuck as parents, that, it was such a grave situation, and then we sort of ignored it, and we didn't know what to do. And she said, she went on to write, and she was a doctor who talks the diagnosis out, and she talks very well.
You can name her at least, so that the.
Her name is Anne Agnes Matthew.
Okay.
She consults in the Baptist Hospital in Bangalore and Hebbar.
Okay.
And she also consults in a place called Synapse Pharma, Synapse Center for Neurological Rehabilitation in Jayanagar. SYNAPSE, if people want to.
Synapse.
Yeah. So she went on to detail what all are her diagnosis, what all she thinks that is, and then she gave us one of the medicines, and she said, try this and come back after a month, because no anti-epileptic medicine, whether it's working or not, cannot be identified before this. But when she said that, I said, we have tried this medicine, and then I gave her a list of all the medicines that we have tried. So she was like, oh, okay, so it seems like you've already tried it. And then she said, you need to give me the liberty to give your child steroids, because
again.
And then the reason we had dropped out of the previous
steroids.
Neurologist, I mean the last neurologist, the 8th neurologist, was that she said he needs to be on steroids for 6 months.
Oh my God.
And if his seizures don't reduce even after 6 months, he need to be given steroids in IV. As in every once in a week, you need to come to the hospital, get him through to the outpatient, get the steroid and go. And then this has to continue till as long as we can hold his seizures. So that was traumatic, and we said no. That was when we stopped everything. and they were talking about surgeries, vagal nerves stimulation. One surgery called some vagus nerve here. They'll put a pacemaker here, or they were talking about
They put
something on lines
chip
of
in the brain also. Now,
brain
I
also.
actually watched this thing in a documentary that they put a chip,
Yeah,
and the child, a girl, that was a girl, and she felt like a, android, and that just detect the seizure. So there is some
right.
kind of those.
And then some simulation, some other surgery. She was saying we might have to do a PET scan and then remove a part of his brain which is causing a
Yeah, yeah,
seizure.
yeah.
But then when I continued this conversation with my current neurologist, she said his seizure is generalized, which means his
Okay.
entire
So,
brain
yeah,
is
you cannot.
through that. So that was anyway not an option. So so he said, yeah, whatever the other neurologists have all told is true. I'm not going to deny that. But let's look at just today. Let's work today out, and then let's see tomorrow later. And then that's when she narrowed down our perspective from steroids to 6 months. She said, I'm going to put your son on steroids for 1 month, just 1 month. And I will promise you that you can stop the steroid just after 1 month. There will be side effects. Of course, as a doctor,
Yeah, definitely.
I balance these and the side effects. The benefits that the steroids will bring are greater than the side effects it brings. So you as parents need to give me the liberty to prescribe steroids to your child, was what she said. And I think that was what we wanted as parents. And we said, okay, we'll give the steroids for a month. And then she said, his seizures will come down. You don't need to worry. The steroids will work, and then his seizures will come down. And then post a month, we'll see what to do. And then 1 month later, his seizure frequency had come down. By this time, he used to have close to 25, 30 episodes in a day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my
And
God.
even in the night while he was sleeping. And then I had put cameras inside the house to record his episodes. And then he started, by this time, he also had falls. So he would be doing something and he would just freeze in time, and then just his entire muscular function would freeze. And then he would fall. And then he would realize he had a pain only after he recovers from the episode. So it was quite bad. So I still have those videos, and unfortunately, my phone keeps reminding 1 year ago this was the day, and then it keeps showing this video.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my God.
So
It never lets you forget. Oh my God.
yeah, I mean, I feel it keeps me grounded also
Yes,
because
yes, yes, yes.
it doesn't let me forget the painful days it had. And post this month, she said she did another EEG. She said his spikes that we see on the EEG have come down. They are not zero. They will never be zero, but they've come down significantly. So you need to try a ketogenic diet. Uh, a ketogenic diet is mostly a
Rich in
fat-based and
fat and
protein-based diet.
protein. Yeah.
And you need to be consulting a dietitian who is also there. And then she will prepare the
Diet.
recipes for you. How much content of you need to measure. I know it is painful, but then seizures of the child versus the diet versus surgery. You're better off with the diet than medicines. If keto works for him, I can pull out some medication from his list. So he'll be on lesser chemicals and more on diet, which is good. And then we'll see how it goes. And then I think we started in August 2022. We started the ketogenic diet. And then by September, the frequency had reduced by half. And October 22nd, October 27, 2022 was his last day of seizure.
Oh, wow.
And
God bless him. God bless him.
yeah,
God.
yeah. And so we were now now the seizures have stopped, but then there is a bigger fear. What if it comes as like a summation of all of them again?
Don't. Yes, I think like with medication, my daughter's seizure are also controlled. It's epilepsy because it's seizure is like once, but if it is every
Yeah,
time, it's epilepsy. So, but even exactly the same fear even I have, that what if? Then I have to say, one day at a time, 1 hour at a time. This is how we have to live. We really don't know what is going to happen tomorrow.
yeah.
So, but
And
really,
in
I'm
between,
happy. I'm happy that seizure stopped.
and in between all of this, it's like, if an episode lasts for more than 5 minutes, you need to spray
Yeah,
two
Midazole.
shots in the
Yeah. Same,
nose.
same, same, same.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
I'm like, okay. And there was all through these the longest he has had an episode is probably for 5 minutes. That was only once.
Grand mal. My
And
daughter had 2, 3 times.
sometimes the neurologists are sometimes they are heartless. I mean, not just one or two. They don't consider you as a parent. I mean, you need to treat adults with epilepsy differently than children with epilepsy, because
Yes, yes, I
the
agree with you.
parents
Yes, I agree with you.
parents are bigger children than the children themselves when it comes to seeing your child
Your
suffer.
child in that kind of process.
Right. So they were saying things like, I mean, we are parents. We are worried. What if there is a seizure for more than 5 minutes? How do I reach you? And they say, why do you want to reach me?
Mm.
Oh my God, you are my neurologist. I'm supposed to reach you, right? No,
Mm.
no, 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 no. If
No
there is a
need to reach.
seizure,
Give
yeah,
the spray and it will calm down. And if still you feel, then come, then see us. It is like,
yeah. And if you don't have if seizure is not getting under control, rush him to emergency. Why would you
yeah,
want to talk to me?
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this?
I
As
know.
in,
Because of that, my daughter had one grand mal. Because of this statement only, we thought, okay, let's wait because she's, we have to wait. It will just pass. We were waiting and it didn't stop till 20 minutes. My husband said, no, I have had enough. You have to. And it just took her in his arms and just we rushed and throughout we reached in Columbia, Shehbal. It was horrible,
right.
horrible, horrible, horrible thing.
And then, I mean, the being knowledgeable is, I think, a curse in sometimes. I mean,
Yes,
being
yes, most of
ignorant
the
is.
time, most of the time.
So I'm like, okay, I'll take my son to the emergency, and what next? What will they do? Will they administer my oxygen? How are they going to stop the seizure? If I'm not going to stop, if I cannot stop the seizure at home, I want to know how they're going to stop it at the hospital, because I am eligible to know what happens to my child once I reach the hospital. Now they have tools to take care of. And exactly,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
are those tools? What are those tools? Is it oxygen?
IV, they will give
Is it
IV
IV?
drugs.
What is it? What is it? No, they wouldn't tell you.
Mm.
And that's the hardest part. And ketogenic diet, with that, you have to, we were asked to monitor his blood sugar 3 times a day, which means three pricks
Three
a
pricks a
day.
day. Oh my.
And then his urine to
How
be.
is Madhavan doing? How is he? Like going through this and how is he?
I mean, I
Any
might get emotional saying certain things. I'm just refraining from saying certain things. They, like there are days where he says, Amma, you didn't check my blood sugar today.
Oh my God.
And then somebody gave him a banana in school, and then
Exactly.
we were not there. This was what the teacher said. Apparently, he went to his friend and asked him, "What is this?" And he said, "It's a banana." And then he said, "Oh no, I am on a diet. I cannot eat this. You have this."
Oh my God.
And things like that, like heart-wrenching uh, things that he does. And then he will be like, and now he has become smarter,
Of
and
course.
then he uses it to fake things, like, oh, I'm feeling so tired today. I'm having a stomach pain.
Okay.
I will not go to school.
Okay.
Like, okay, so don't worry. You stay at home. And then 5 minutes later, he is fine. And then you seem to be fine. Come, let's go to school. And, oh no, the stomach pain just came back again. It's like,
That's
uh,
actually
I mean,
interesting.
sometimes I keep telling my friends, these are things that are happening with my child. Today for 12 years, we have not seen a boy that grew in the house age appropriate, like whatever
How
things he
you
had to
are
do.
having.
And now I'm seeing all of this come at once, and some intriguing question he asks, and both me and my wife will look at each other, and we are proud that he's asking this question,
Yeah,
because
yeah, I can
these are
imagine.
questions probably a 4-year-old will ask. But my son is now 11, and he asked me that question, and this is the first time we're seeing it. So when I tell my friends this, I also add a disclaimer saying that I might sound stupid when I'm saying this.
No,
You would
not at
have
all,
probably
sir.
seen.
Not at all. Not at all. I
No,
don't.
I'm telling my
Yeah,
disclaimer I put in front of people. Don't get me wrong. This is the first time I'm seeing it in my child,
I
so
can
I'm very
feel it.
happy with it.
Yes, yes, yes. I can feel it.
So yeah, so now the thing that we don't realize as parents is what toll this is taking on us while
Yeah.
all of this is happening. And so I'm still many a times reeling from anxiety. Many mornings I just wake up and I'm anxious. I don't know why. I have this anxiety, and I can only relate to waking up every day morning, counting the number of seizures that he had in the night, and then knowing if the pattern changed. When is the neurologist appointment next? When should the EEG be done? Plan for all of this. So the post-trauma stress
Yes, you are
is
having, sir. You
immense.
are having PTSD actually.
Yeah, and so even there are some days in the morning, I just wake up now and uh, I'll be very silent. And my parents accuse me sometimes saying that I don't wish them good morning when I wake up.
Oh,
And clearly, I am like, you have no idea what some days were in the past. So I can clearly not wish you on days when I'm having anxiety, and then it takes time till I reach office, and then I sit back and then I open my emails to see that another set of things are burning in another part of the world. That's when it brings me back. My stress comes down, and then I start talking to people outside home. And COVID was horrible because it was just the four of us.
actually, then only it was, he
Yeah, it was
started
at the
having.
peak of his seizures, and then I mean, sometimes I feel I'm a little. I introspect a lot on my actions also. So in certain views, it's like, did I do the right thing? And
Of
that
course,
sort
you
of
did the
stresses me
right thing.
more.
No, 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 no. You did the
And
best
not
thing.
about the child, but about what all things I did today. Was it the right thing I did?
Of
Could
course, you did.
I have done better? And all of that.
Sir,
So
I will tell you, sir, there is nothing better could be done. What happens is the best. And just being much, much older than you, just take from me that, it is what it is. We, especially as
now,
a parent, we go through a lot. And now I have made peace with myself that, it's fine. It's fine. What we have done, what we are doing, it's okay.
yeah, uh, and then now I become very philosophical that I give life lessons to people, and then
Of
when I
course.
look at them
Course.
and
You have a
it
WhatsApp
look
group
like
also of parents, right, sir? I think
okay,
long ago when we talked about it, we
right.
had a conversation. You have a WhatsApp group where,
Yeah, I created a group. Unfortunately, another thing I've sensed with parents is the stigma in the society is such that sometimes your own relatives won't come to your help because you have a special child. As in,
yeah, yeah.
they fear that they might get stuck in your situation.
Yes, yes.
And
I know.
although people may not have transference, they might be scared of transference. Sorry for the jargon. It meant
No, no, no. I get you. As a special parent, I have experienced all of this. Of
yeah.
course, I understand.
And that sort of brings you down because the people you help the most sort of back off when you need the help. And undue expectations. You were a normal person some time ago. What happened to you? You are very rude now. Of course, I'm not in the state of mind I was some years ago, and now Yeah, probably because of all of this, I'm a very different person now, and I'm opening up in front of you because I think I want people to know that it's okay to be the person you are. I don't talk to anybody now on phone more than just hi, how are you? Yeah, things are fine. How are things with you?
Nobody
Very
wants
good.
to listen more than that, actually. There are
Yeah, so
interesting.
I'm a much different person, and I don't open up with anybody. I have my a world of my own in my mind, and yeah, I'm accused in office that I don't go with my team for my lunch. I spend time on books. I watch my videos on my phone. I talk to my set of people, and of course, yes, it's how things change and how it has transformed me into. And one thing for sure, I realized it the very hard way is given a point in time and the situations that you're in, the things you do are always the best. In retrospective, it might look like you could have done better, but then at that point in time,
Yeah,
in
exactly.
that
Given the set
situation,
conditions, given the set of the
yeah,
conditions,
and the knowledge that you had at that point in time,
exactly. I agree.
you can only do the best.
I have just one last question for you,
Yeah.
and you can opt for not answering. Would you rather choose to have the different condition, like everything normal, Madhavan being uh, like a regular child, or the child he was born with the conditions and the thing, the trauma you went through along with him? You can answer, or if you don't want to answer, it's your choice.
I think Madhavan has taught me life,
Yes.
has taught me patience, has taught my wife and me to put up with each other. So he is the glue that bonds all the four of us together.
Mm.
Even now, when situations are not so good, it's Madhavan who sort of drives it all. So in
Thank
a way, I can only be saying that he was gifted, and then we were gifted that we had Madhavan. Uh,
Yes, yes, yes. I agree. I completely agree. As a special needs parent, the child is the gift. The special needs child, they are always the gift.
I mean, I have no regrets. I could not have been in any better situation than I am in right now. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing and pouring your heart, actually. I really, really appreciate the way you have, you know, said every word was like it was really, I understood. I could understand the feeling. I could feel it. I even me being the special mother, I completely relate to you that how, what, and where, and now where you are. I would say that, I would never have imagined any other child in place of my own child. Even God bless her and us and all the special needs children, because they make us better people. They make us better
true.
people. There is no doubt about that. Thank you so much for sharing your story, and rather story, sharing your journey. And God bless you, your daughter, your wife, and your child, your Madhavan. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
being